3, 2, 1.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, Mariah, welcome to the podcast. This is Mariah Braun.
Thank you.
Creator of M3 Studios in Grande Prairie, as well as M3 Marketing, for those who don't know. You have a wide variety of skills and talents, from indie filmmaker, photography. I mean, you kind of do a little bit of everything. And it is definitely a pleasure to have you on our podcast, our little rig we have going on here. And you're living in Grande Prairie, so we're super pumped to have you on here tonight.
Yeah, super honored.
Thanks for having me. This is really exciting, and I'm just excited to have a cool conversation because I've been watching your podcast. I really like the vibe. I mean, you just had George Stroumboulopoulos on your podcast. Like, how does that feel? That's pretty cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so quick. You didn't really have time to
overthink,
like react, I guess.
Yeah.
So you only like to do it. So that was the most interesting part for my side, I guess, was that. It was like, oh shit, we got to go.
Yeah. I'm definitely glad it happened. It happened really, really, really quick. So I didn't get to overthink things like I normally get to do. But it seems like there's been a great response so far, and I'm happy about it. So yeah. I don't watch it because I typically don't like to watch myself or do anything after the fact. So the reception, like I said, has been great. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It was. I got to watch the whole thing again, twice, in fact. And it turned out good. I think it turned out really well. Like, I only edited out like 10 minutes, kind of just some getting to know you stuff and a couple of camera drops and stuff like that or whatever. But it was, really good. Yeah. We could have probably done another hour with him, and
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, just time restraints, but yeah, it was awesome. So we'll have a part 2 eventually, and he's going off to do I think some filmmaking and stuff, some docs type stuff, I think. So we'll probably have him back, hopefully, when he does whatever the next project is, right? So we'll help him. Not that he needs promotion, but he can help us.
Yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait to see another episode. Like, that first episode was awesome, guys. Like, way to go.
Thank you.
Be proud.
That's cool. I appreciate it. I know Sam appreciates that as well.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool hearing everybody's feedback, because we do have a lot of followers and stuff like that, like on our various platforms and whatever. But we don't generally get a lot of feedback because I don't think it's a lot of local people. It's people that kind of get lost in the mix kind of thing and find us and whatever. So seeing good feedback, especially from people we know and look up to, kind of thing, has been cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's been hard actually getting more of a local fan base. I don't know why that seems like it's so hard to do.
Yeah.
I know you kind of centralize your whole, you're here and you feature, you promote, you let these creative people from our region have a voice and have a platform to kind of tell their story and stuff like that. Like, how do you find, like, from the beginning of, when was the first initial idea of starting maybe this creative studio to the point where, like, this is it, I'm going to go for it? And, like, I don't know where I'm going with this question, but I mean, did you have any fear of getting that going, and how did you overcome that fear?
I still have fear today. Like, it's wild. But I was doing, like, I tried, I always try and push myself creatively, right? And I had this project that I was working on, and I had to do a voiceover. It was the first time I had done any voice acting, but I was renting a place up in the 214 place, top floor there. It was an awesome view. Nice. And you can't control the air conditioning. You can't control the noise from, my neighbors, those kind of things. And I said, I just wish there was some place we could go to just do a voiceover quick. That would be really nice. And then I was like, maybe I should open something like that. And then I said, well, you wouldn't just do an audio booth. You would do a photography space. You'd do a podcast room. And so I just hit go. I just started planning. I started developing, getting a business plan together. I had to ask for funding. Please fund me to be able to make it happen, because there was a lot of renovations that happened here. And that's when it just took off. I just kept going with it. It was, at first I wasn't scared. At first I was just excited. And then when I was looking at buildings and I found this space and I was pretty sure it was going to be this space, I feel like that's when it kind of set in, and like, you know, paying the money to all the contractors and all the people doing the work here. And then of course, like day one opening, you're like, okay, look at what the last year has kind of taken me to, and no regrets, but I love that I've brought in something different to Northwestern Alberta. We're like the largest content studio north of Edmonton. People, you know, there's naysayers for sure. There's like a lot of people who say there's not enough podcasters or there's not enough this type of creative to make this a go. Well, I'd love to prove them wrong, to be honest. I love showing that there's an industry here. I love having our creative mixers that allow me to showcase that, because we pretty much sell out every time. 30 creators come out, creatives, I should say, to kind of connect with one another, many different disciplines. And it's all happening right here in Grande Prairie. And we're having like a lot of talented people be up here and make a really good career out of it. So yeah, that's where all the passion stems from.
I would say you are proving them wrong, and you are putting your best foot forward and making it happen, right? And giving all these people and that's what most people need, right? They just sometimes I don't think I have, you know, this or that or the other. But if they know that someone like you is here to support them and give them a platform and give them a space where they can create, it's going to make people want to explore their creative side.
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, this is a blue collar kind of oil field town.
Sure is, yeah.
So like with us, we there could be naysayers, and I'm guessing that happens in any industry pretty much. I mean,
oh yeah. Well, I mean, I remember when I first even said, I'm going to start a podcast, and me and Snow, like really, we'd done a few episodes kind of thing, and this is what we're doing. Like people thought I was a lunatic because it didn't make any sense to them, I guess, or whatever, right? Like it's only big people can do, you know, you got to have a lot of money and you got to have studios and people and backing. It's not always the case. You got good local support that'll get you a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important that people have spaces like this, you know, like not everyone can go out and buy all the cameras and all the fancy podcast equipment, and they just need access to just try a concept and maybe somebody to talk to about their idea before they make a go of it, right? And I love being that person. I might not know everything about it, but I link them to people that do, and I try my best to just kind of make those connections locally.
Awesome. So, Mariah, now we got to go back to the start. What got you, like from an early age, before you got it, you know, got your business, you got all the gear, you got all the fun stuff. What was your original inspiration to kind of get you motivated to even learn any of this stuff?
Well, I feel like I was born into it. Like it was like almost passed down to me. So my grandma, she's like a crafter. She loves making like cards, and she's always been artistic. You know, even when I was young, she let me go on the computer for like a limited amount of time, of course. But like I would open up Microsoft Paint and I would like just like play around, right? Like it seems so basic now, but like literally that's where it started. And my mom was really into photography when I was younger too.
Nice.
She worked at a camera store downtown here. You know, she was a hobbyist, but really loved the craft of photography. So she always kind of had cameras in our face and exposing us to that world. And I never really noticed it until like I was older, but it really made a mark on me. And I really enjoy the visual arts, always have since high school. I made sure to go into, you know, the digital programs, the media courses that they would have available to students. And yeah, I always just enjoyed seeing pictures, really well shot photography, those kind of things. So yeah, I would say that's where it started. I feel like it's just been handed down to me. That's cool. I'm really blessed, really, really blessed about that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very easily to to be inspired by, your mother who's taking great photos, right? I mean, and then you kind of have access to a camera as well. Like maybe, hey mom, can I borrow this for, right? I mean, did you do that at all or no?
No, I didn't, but she gave us those like disposable cameras.
Right. I love those. I wish there were more of those.
You can't break. That would be sick to have those.
Yeah,
back.
the sound of like cranking it back. Yeah.
That's definitely nostalgic.
But
yeah.
But I was that person for my little brother.
Nice.
So much so that every, shiny new digital camera I got, he ended up like breaking. He's like, yeah, I want to take this to the skate park.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Thinking I'm being a great sibling here. And he comes back, he's like, Mariah, I'm like, my new Sony camera.
Look what you've done.
Yeah, look what you've done.
Oh, gosh.
That's so funny.
But I never got to borrow mom's camera, but always was trying to get my hands on it, even if it was like an iMac at school, with all those little filters you could use, playing around with that kind of stuff. It was always something that I was interested in.
That's awesome. Do you remember what kind of camera that was that your mom had back when you were little?
I'm pretty sure she had a Sony, but I feel like she also had a Canon. Could be wrong. My mom could like scold me later for this, but I definitely remember a Sony one when I was in high school, and probably a Canon before then, because I don't think Sony cameras actually got popular until I was like in high school, like the later 2000s. I think are more when they became a more popular camera for the everyday consumer to have, I think.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I kind of adopted my father's Sony Handycam.
Ah, yes.
And I also took it to the skateboard park. So I was the guy who just had the camcorder all the time, and that's how, that was my first taste in any videography or anything of that kind of thing. So yeah. We always get a little bit of inspiration from family members, which is great.
For sure. I owe all my music to my dad, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't play instruments, but he loves music, so yeah, you got to get it somewhere.
So for your filmmaking, by the time you got a little bit older, like who kind of inspired you to lean into the like documentary style of filmmaking? Or was that just a natural thing you?
Well, it was more so, what was it? I just had an interest. I was like really wanting to get into video work a little bit more. I dabbled in photography a little bit, but I just had a little bit of an interest. I was just saying to myself, I want to learn a new skill. Video is it. I was working at a radio station early on in my career, and we would always come up with like these cool trendy packages, right? We're just trying to beat the competition. Like,
right.
What's something that nobody's doing, right? And I was hired on as the first like digital rep, and I don't think any other radio stations really had that strategy at that time. And so my general manager, Grant Burke, he owns a art gallery downtown now.
Right.
He actually bought the radio station a camera, and it had video capabilities, and he like put it on my desk, and that was it. He was just like, use this, try and make money with it. And then, I moved on from that role, but, I played around with the camera then. So I would like make these little videos for our clients, sell them. And then when I went to this next job, I was working at then GPRC, and you could go to like a class, I think, it may be discounted, maybe free. I can't quite remember, but there was a video production class, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to enroll in this. I think this is a good skill. I'm in the marketing field already because I had already gone to school for marketing at that point.
Right.
So I just said, you know what? Let's do this. And then going through that program at GPRC and WP Now, I think what had ended up happening was we had to do a number of projects like narrative, and we had to do our own final project. And I decided, you know what, there's some really cool stories that are happening. And I think I want to do a documentary for mine, right? And so
Nice.
That's where it started. I just, by myself,
Right.
a single student, I had to go out to not Horse Lake, but Kelly Lake, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Lake. I just knew a person that kind of, this woman I knew, she just was very inspiring and had a lot of stories. And so I followed that kind of storyline, and it uncovered more and more and more. And so, yeah, I decided to make this short documentary for my final project. And I got on sets for music videos that were happening locally. And then I got kind of into the video production world. And then I had kind of like a mentor, Rue Jones. He just sat with me and kind of told me about the industry. And they just encouraged me to apply for my own grants. And I went for it.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
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 And shout out to Grant, who put that camera on your desk and opened up that door, a whole new world for you, I guess, at the time. Right? Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's all it takes is just the leader being like, here's the tool, and just walking away, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really cool. And he knew he didn't have to babysit me. He just knew I was going to run with it, right? Yeah, I owe a lot to Grant for sure. He's a really good mentor of mine.
That's cool.
And as well, now you get to pay it forward, right? Now you're the industry leader in this, and now you're sharing your wealth of knowledge to anyone, right? Who is inspired to do that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the beautiful part, right? And especially students at NWP, I really connect with them too, because they see my story. I graduated from there, ended up working there. I got an award a couple years ago from there. And they can really see how being a student in that institution can impact you and how far you can go. And I think, yeah, that's the most beautiful part, is that you can share the story with others and inspire others by it and share your knowledge, because I'm only one person. There's tons of content to be made out there. I don't mind sharing my knowledge with people, sharing those skills, because there's a new generation coming up.
That's right. And as I say, the rising tide raises all the boats, right?
That's
so
right.
you can't just hold anyone down. And as you mentioned, you were the winner of the Alumni Entrepreneurship Award at Northwest Polytechnic, which is very impressive, I might add.
Yeah. That's
Thank you.
A very great honor, especially
right? And
from a place you went to, it's a local, the whole thing, like it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And just the fact that we're so entrepreneurial here.
Yeah.
That's just a huge title, and they've just been so supportive, and every step of the way, I can just, instructors, people I met, it all impacts. And I just think I wouldn't be here. Sometimes I look around and I'm like, I can't believe, what happened?
How did I get here?
I'm a studio owner now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes I forget, I get into the hustle and bustle of things, and sometimes I forget how far I've come, for sure.
It's nice to look back a little bit. You don't want to look back all the time, but it's nice to look back a little bit here and there. Take a moment and just take in the breeze, kind of thing. And because I've been kind of following your guys' story kind of thing right from the beginning, so it's awesome to see. It's awesome, as we were talking about inspiration and stuff like it. It's obvious, I think, that what you're doing and stuff is having an impact on the local scene, local creatives. I've noticed more so in the last year and a half that more people are popping up, and there's always been people around, I think, but I think they're getting the confidence to come forward and present their, whatever it is their art is or their creativeness is. And I think that you're a large part of that. So it's pretty awesome. You should be very proud.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it just takes that one person to take the risk, right?
I think so, yeah.
Then people aren't as afraid.
Yeah, and it's a good support system. I think that's the building stones, right? Grant did his thing. Now you're building off of his thing, and there's all these other people in town and whatever. But everybody kind of, as everybody, people will say, "Oh, you leapfrog people," but it's kind of, you just build. People are setting up scaffolding for you, and it's up to you to build the next level for the next people to get higher, right? So it's amazing to see that stuff going on, and like I said, your studio, what you guys do is awesome. So tell everybody a little bit about what you guys are about, and what the studio is versus the marketing and stuff like that, and let everybody know about your team and stuff.
Yeah, so I've been really working hard on how to explain this, because people get confused by the two brands, which as a marketing company, is challenging. But so M3M Marketing is the marketing agency that I started in 2017. We do everything from your strategy to graphic design, social media, video production, websites. And our team is basically made up of freelancers, employees, and I find these talented people, whether it's through stuff that I've done in the past, other work that I've done, or finding the right talent for the right job. And I end up building these relationships with them to essentially help our clients through whatever marketing supports that they're needing. We love to keep people relevant. We love having people get visibility out there in the market. And so this studio is a place. So M3M Marketing resides in M3M Studios, but M3M Studios is a content studio. And so think of any kind of content that you can create that's photo, video, or audio content can be created here by the hour with support or do it yourself, whatever you prefer. And what we're here for is to get people access to this kind of space. Give them a space that they can focus on their craft, their project, maybe get a little bit of insight into maybe what they could do differently to enhance that project if I have the expertise. And really, we're here for the creative industry as a whole to kind of grow into the future.
That's awesome. Awesome. Right. Like, I really like what you guys are doing. Like, I'm a real fan.
Thank
like,
you.
Yeah, because like what you guys are doing is kind of like what I see as like a podcast version of what you do, kind of thing. So I think it's like it's cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
And for your team, like, how did you kind of pick and choose? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who can do the websites and this and that. So, like, tell us about your team and who you have working for you specifically, and what they bring to you. What do they mean to you?
Yeah, so I've got Robin, my content strategist. She's been with the company since pretty much day one, and she helps us strategize. So we'll build these like marketing plans for our clients, and it kind of rolls out like the 6 to 12 months for our clients in a really neat way, in a very strategic way. She also does like social media content, writing, all those kind of things. I've got our team member, David, who's in-house here with me for most of the week. And he's fairly new to the marketing industry, but really sharp kid, loves music, really talented video editor, and just wildly talented. He started not long ago in August, and I'm just amazed at his growth. He was smart and very talented before us, but you can just really see him level up, and it's really cool to see. He's also into the YouTube game. He's got his own YouTube channel. I think it's okay that I shout it out here.
Plug it away. Yeah.
Plug away. On our end, it's okay.
Actually, I think you guys would really like David. He loves music, so he does these music reviews.
Oh, cool.
Young kid, right? Some of these songs he's never heard because he's so young, and so it's like real reactions to first hearing the song. Or
I love those.
That's
one
my
time
favorite.
he had his mom on, and it was like these songs that his mom wanted him to hear and that kind of thing. And so he's growing quite the YouTube following for sure. So that's
we've
pretty
got
cool.
We've got a few tunes for him.
Yeah, we'll follow him and we'll hit him up.
I'd love to see some
Yeah, for
reactions
sure.
from the stuff that we listen to.
I would. Yeah, it'd be funny.
But yes, continue. Sorry.
For sure. Oh no, that's totally okay. He's probably like, why'd you talk? He's like, why'd you bring me up? Sorry, David.
That's it. When you're talented, you get brought up. That's it.
And then we've got a few other freelancers like Allie, Justine, a few others that kind of do like social media, writing, those kind of things. And then I've got a couple developers that work for me. And I think that's about it these days. We're looking for a new team member right now, actually.
There you go. Put that out there too.
Pardon me?
Go ahead. Put that out there too. Tell them what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. So we're looking for a marketing and client coordinator right now. So if somebody has some marketing experience or wants to grow their marketing expertise, this is a great entry-level position here at M3M Marketing. So, yeah, we're looking to grow the team, keep a really solid foundation, and yeah, keep helping the local people because there's no shortage of that. A lot of people need help with their marketing, and this industry is constantly changing. Like it's never static, and the things that you learned in school, have already changed kind of thing. And so there's a lot to kind of keep up on, and a lot of business owners just get right into the thick of business, right? Like they're operating the business. We kind of take a piece of it off their hands, right? So yeah. And then when customers get the visibility, they're like really excited. Their business is growing, and I love being part of that.
Yeah, it is exciting to see something grow. You know what I mean? And it's not easy to do. Like sometimes you do need help in getting to that next level, or just being put in front of the right eyes that are interested in your product, right? So you guys are really good at kind of putting the product in front of the people who need to see it. So that is very, very impressive as well.
Thanks.
So in terms of your next, I'll say the future. I won't say years because that's kind of specific or whatever. But for the future, for yourself, then versus the studio, like what's the next level or the next stage or your goals coming up, like for yourself, like for your personal creativeness and for your the studio, the marketing department, that kind of thing.
Well, the studio, we just want more people in here using it, leveraging it to up their game, up their content game. One thing I'm really working on is getting this place to be able to run without me, which is, it's challenging, right? It's, you've got to train the people. You've got to, there's just so much to it. Like it seems so simple, hire people and, it's just taken care of, but it's really not. And the skill set that I have, not everybody has, right? And so I got to find those right team members and bring them in. But I can already see how this might be small. It's pretty big. It's 3,000 square feet, but I can also see myself maybe opening a different studio. Wow. Or maybe expanding into another market. I don't know. Those are a few things I'm thinking about in terms of the studio. Personally, I really want to get on some more sets, film sets, documentary, hopefully. I'm not opposed to any narrative stuff, but I'd really like to get on other people's sets because I've learned so much just by being on other people's sets. Everyone runs them differently. And yeah, you gain just tremendous knowledge that you probably wouldn't have, right? And I also want to do more of my own short films. I have kind of taken a break from that because of the studio. It is a lot of work to get this thing up and running. So I have kind of put all of that creative, which is, it's kind of ironic, right? I had to put away the creative stuff to run the business.
Yeah. Well, hey, no one's going to
own creative.
Yeah, and no one's going to paint that big white wall, that you have there, right? You're the one doing that. You're the one who's got to mop the floor. I'm sure as the owner, you have to do everything involved. So in a way, you kind of have to put the creative side in the back seat until you can get things set up where people, like you said, are running the show kind of with you. Just then you can kind of have the freedom to be the creative part. Put that back in the front seat, more or less.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think that's what is it? I feel like it's glorified entrepreneurship. It's a little glorified. I'm out there shoveling every day. If you're driving down 100th Ave during rush hour traffic, you're probably going to see me like shoveling. And on Sundays, you'll see me cleaning in here. I am everything, but I'm working on kind of getting out of that. So, yeah, I think my own films, I want to do a doc. I also want to challenge myself and do a narrative. I've got one idea that just kind of came to me one day, and that's just sitting in the kind of the think tank a little bit. And I really want to make a documentary about bull trout, actually, because I'm a fisherwoman. Me and my boyfriend, Chris, really love fishing. And I really love bull trout, love targeting bull trout.
Okay.
So I'd really
Cool.
like to make a documentary about bull trout in the next few years, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I would learn so much because I know absolutely nothing about bull trout.
Not a thing.
Yeah, they are very resilient fish. So a lot of my stories are around resilience. And so that's something that's come to me. It's like, this is a resilient kind of fish, right? It's the fish of Alberta. I don't know if you know that, but
I did not know that.
yeah, so they almost went extinct. So they're protected now. So you have to catch and release. You can't eat bull trout, I believe, unless you're Indigenous. And so I think that's really fascinating. I'd love to tell that story in some kind of way. Not sure how yet, but yeah.
I love it.
Gotta think
Yeah,
about it.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
I mean, yeah, and you do kind of you love the resilient story, right? I mean, you had the story of Keisha, the path to wellness, and then as well as I forget the lady's name, but I do know her because she was my mortgage broker for for buying this house.
Tiffany.
Tiffany, yes. So yeah, Life Without Diagnosis is the other one, which I saw on TELUS too, and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you created that, which is kind of crazy. How it was just like, oh my god, like you. That was Mariah who did that. Like,
wicked.
wow.
Surprise.
So anyway, yeah, that was anyway great. Yeah, so I love it. Yeah, like the resilient bull trout of Alberta.
Yeah.
So where do you like to go fishing?
Oh, I can't tell you.
You don't know.
Oh, you guys are like you are.
Tell
you
me.
are-
Are you
So you're a real one.
You're real pros out there. I see.
You're a real one. A real fisher person never tells their spots.
No,
Yeah, that's right.
that's
I
funny.
mean,
Yeah.
there's lots of great spots around here. Grand Cache area, Jasper, of course.
Grand Cache is awesome.
I'll give you those broad.
I see how it is.
Broad.
Love it. Awesome.
Do you partake in ice fishing at all? Is that a thing you do?
You know, I do.
Yeah.
Me and my boyfriend haven't gotten out in, oh my gosh, it's probably 2 years now.
yeah.
He works a job where he works nights, and so it makes it really challenging to go out ice fishing.
I would imagine.
So I hope we get to soon. I really miss it. Yeah,
So that's the aim of getting the team together so you can go back fishing.
that's right. It's
Yeah,
true.
more fishing trips.
Get my freedom back, right?
All right, everybody, get your stuff together. Brian needs to go.
David? Just joking.
David, you gotta
You're up.
have this under control.
Yeah, you're up. That's awesome. So what was I gonna say? So coming up in the next little bit here. So what are you guys up to? I guess coming into spring, coming up for you guys here now. Do you guys have any plans for any new mixers? You got anything cool? Any projects cool that are coming up that you guys want to talk about or anything?
No projects that are coming up so far, but we are doing the creative mixer on March. Ooh, I'm forgetting the date, but it's in March. Oh, David's going to kill me again. But yeah, we are having another creative mixer. We have them quarterly. So we have one in March. We have one in June, usually just before the summer holidays kind of take off. And then we do one in September because we do our anniversary special, I guess, now because
Nice.
we have an anniversary. We've been here a year. And we do one in December. So those are going to be regular. We're going to keep doing them. People have really great feedback, so we're not going to stop on that. And yeah, I think that's it. Honestly, we don't, I mean, if somebody's looking for marketing people, want to do a cool project, like just give me a call, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nothing that's really coming up on the docket quite yet.
Cool. How's the podcast stuff coming along?
The podcast is awesome. I think the reception for that has been spectacular. I've got I've got to have 12 slated, including you guys.
Oh, sure.
And it's just, I got to put them in the calendar and get them done. I'm sure you can relate to this a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got lots of ideas. There's a lot of creative, talented people here. So I'm not worried about running out of content. That's for sure.
No, that's for sure.
And yeah, 10 to 12 people have said yes.
Nice.
Like
Good.
informally kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell everybody what the name, where to find it. Plug it all. Plug everything.
So the podcast is called Creating North of 55. You can find it on YouTube and Spotify right now.
Nice. I've been enjoying your podcast. Because I like that perspective. I kind of like you give a bit of entrepreneurial kind of viewpoint, and you kind of give the creative and a little bit of the middle ground, and I like that.
Yeah, it's designed to kind of be like that water cooler talk between creatives. And I was finding that I was having these in the industry out there just talking to people. And I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about it on a podcast. Why not? And other creatives can enjoy it. People who are not creative can get like this lens into the world of creativity. And yeah, I want to really get creative with the kind of guests that I have. I really do want to make it broad to creatives. Maybe they're creating like, art, traditional art, or maybe it's music or dancing. So nothing's really off the table as long as it's creative.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what we like. See, that's why you're here, because that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish. Even though it's a little tough to get the local people going, it seems, but we're trying to promote all the local stuff, build the scene, build the people.
I mean, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay? Yeah, it's a podcast. Go ahead. I'll try my best to answer.
What do you think it is that the locals like? Why is it such a challenge, you think?
I think from my perspective, I guess we aren't locals. Number one. We are kind of now. I mean, we've both been around for a long time, but we're not locals technically. So, like, our childhood, kind of what we talk about is always flavored by Newfoundland. So there's a bit of that, I think, which, I mean, is not horrible, but I think that's some of it, is that. And from, like, feedback face to face, a lot of people don't realize we're from here. Even though it's, we do make it kind of a point to say it, but I mean, it's not, it's not the focus of our podcast, so it's not upfront, but
it's true.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just think it's like, if you look at, if you get into the stats and analytics kind of side of it or whatever, like, we do just as much business in the States as we do in Canada. So it's, I don't really know particularly why, other than, like, I think that some of it is the way, like I say, our relationship to our past is, I think, some of it to a certain degree, because we don't say growing up in Grande Prairie or growing up in, close kind of thing. It's not the same relationship.
But
I think. I don't know.
I don't think it matters. I really don't.
I don't know.
Because everyone's from somewhere else here.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I don't think you have to be born and bred.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, your podcast isn't locally focused, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's pretty
a focus
broad,
for your audience, right?
Because you can compare it to, like, Lindsay's pod, right? So, like, Disturbing the Peace, another excellent local podcast that we've had around. We've talked to everybody. Go check that out. But
check it out.
Check it out. Check out the podcast with you as well. But
Thank you.
like, she's very obviously, it's locally focused. Like, the whole thing is very locally focused kind of thing. So, looking at her stats, she's very local based, but not much outside of that, which is cool. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of that, but that's kind of like, that's her market kind of thing or whatever. So that's cool. But it seems like we don't hit it for some reason. I don't know. We'll have to come down and talk to you about it, because we'll have to come down and talk to the marketing people about it.
I don't think it matters. I don't think you guys should worry about it.
No, I don't really.
Fine.
No,
yeah.
I just find it weird or whatever.
It's
I guess.
fine. Yeah, I don't worry about that too much overall. Like you said, Lindsay's doing a great job of what she's doing, and when it comes to historical facts and things that actually happened, people love to listen and learn about their local history, right? Whereas we're kind of a broad base, and maybe people say, well, if it's just some podcast from Grande Prairie, like, how good could it really be, right? So I'll go listen to something else of whatever, right? So people don't really have that, kind of preconception of what we are if you're from, say, New Jersey or Italy, of all places, places that listen to us. Like, they just kind of see it for what it is. And we're talking about music, movies, pop culture, 90s stuff, and how it relates to us, where we grew up, where, I don't know, like, and we don't even really get too focused on stuff of where we grew up. I mean, maybe in the earlier episodes, but we've kind of
Our direction's different now. Our direction's definitely different.
We've evolved 2 or 3 or 4 times over since over the last year and a half or so. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those things are always nice, right? You're establishing yourselves as people that can be, buy into your guys' story, right?
Yeah.
So I think all that background is good, but I mean, if you're not locally focused, and I think that's the thing too, when people say, oh, well, there's no podcast created in Grande Prairie. Well, how do you know, like, if it's not focused on Grande Prairie, then you would never know necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with us basically is if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't kind of thing. And we've never paid for ads necessarily. I think in the beginning I threw $20 at it kind of thing. So like,
Facebook ad for 20. Yeah.
Like we've never, you know what I mean? In that kind of way. So pretty much every portion of our growth has been pretty organic for the most part, or, it's obviously some kind of, it's the algorithm, it's all the other things too, but it is, we do it every week. We post all kinds of stuff as much as we can, and just, pick and pick and pick and pick and pick and pick. And eventually
maybe it will.
You're out there.
Maybe it
for
will.
Sure. Like, you do good work. You do a lot of content. So keep it up.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
And
we're trying not to.
Definitely shout out to Ryan G at Rock 97 for
Oh, cool.
Pumping us up again.
Yeah, he clipped up a part of our George podcast and gave us a big intro and had it on the radio. It's like what is happening here?
Yeah.
So,
and other people are telling us,
awesome.
it's bizarre.
So for that, we're super thankful for, and it's because of him maybe that we will kind of get a little bit more noticed around, locally and stuff. So
Yeah, Ron G.
Totally, yeah. The DHT actually called me last week, and they did up an article, and I guess they feature like local entertainment from time to time, and that was it's like a nice little local boost, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
why not?
I wish we still had the physical paper. I miss the Daily Herald Tribune.
Yeah.
Or even just like news on Facebook. Like, I'd settle for that.
Yeah,
That too,
you
yeah.
can put that back and stop showing me fake people's pages or whatever it is I'm seeing.
Oh,
I know. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, is this really like news? Like,
yeah.
why
Facebook
can't
says,
why can't the government do something? I'm sorry, but I'm quite annoyed by it. It takes away a lot of sales for a lot of different businesses, organizations that use that as PR. And I actually have a theory that it's terrible. It's terrible for the economy. Nobody hears what's going on out there anymore.
right.
And Facebook is a place where people would get that information. And now they have to just rely on Joe that's hopefully telling them the truth.
Right.
And likely not. It's mixed up, probably, in some way.
Yeah. Very biased and centered towards Joe himself, who
Yeah.
probably doesn't
Right.
have my best interest in his mind, right?
Joe, come on.
Come on, Joe.
get back in the game, but yeah. No, it's going to be an interesting time here coming up too. I think we'll see some changes in that stuff coming up. I don't want to be Mr. Political or whatever, but I think we will see some changes in that kind of stuff due to the environment we are in. I'll be as neutral as I can. But
Sure,
in terms
yeah.
of the environment we are in, I think this changing of guard, I think, is going to change a lot of those rules for creatives in a way. Because, I mean, the CRTCs really got their hands deep into your content now. And that goes for your internet and your television and your whatever you think, anything that comes up, your
Yeah.
radio, everything. And not to say that it shouldn't be some kind of hands in, but it's a little deep, and I don't like that. Like, I'm a supporter of deregulated radio, deregulated TV. I'm that guy kind of thing.
Independent.
Yeah.
Independent stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, basically a pirate. I want to be a pirate. Is essentially where I'm at. But actually, it's funny. I had a conversation.
Content pirate.
Yeah, I had a conversation today with an old gentleman who may or may not have a radio transmitter that may or may not be able to broadcast over the entire Peace region. And I may or may not hijack that to create a
Let's do
pirate
it.
radio station.
We can air a couple pods on over the air. That's
Right. So that's
Can I get an ad, please?
100%. Hyundai, everybody's getting on pirate radio.
Everyone's on the pirate radio. You get some pirate. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've expressed my opinions a few times in the pod about CRTC and how I feel about all that and whatever. But I think they've just basically taken away piles of revenue from people that are in the artistic world, and they always say it's musicians and it's filmmakers, but there's tons of people that fill all that stuff in as well, and it's a bunch of people losing on that, and I'm not in agreement in any way, shape, or form. And
Yeah.
No, it's disappointing, that you can't pull up a local news source or CTV on Instagram or Global News. You can't even see this stuff anymore.
Well, I thought it was even surprising. I went to look at NTV's, so it's Newfoundland Television for people not from Newfoundland, but NTV is like the local, news station. It's a big deal at home and whatever. They've got awesome content. They've got an app, all this stuff. So on the app, life's good because it's their app, whatever. But of course, you go to the website. You can't if you link it from Facebook, you can't see that. You can't see their Instagram page. You can't see their Facebook page. It only gets displayed in the States. Wow. It's like, why have it even?
Yeah, right? That's brutal.
Yeah, like I wanted to see some good local, like I wanted to look at local news from home just to see what was going on, and I couldn't even, I was like, what is that? What kind of world do we live in that I can't just go to their Instagram page and look at a post? Like,
yeah.
But anyways.
Hopefully there's changes on the way.
Hopefully, if anybody's in control and they're listening, please fix this. Please fix this.
Please.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
So, getting back to you, we'll get back to you. We won't get poly-charged here. We won't get, politically charged. It's like, what kind of lasting impact would you like to see you leave on the creative industry for the Peace region?
Oh. You're asking me such a big question, man.
That's a big one. I want a big answer now.
It can be small. That's all. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's that I think just honestly for me, it's youth. It's showing youth that there is a possibility to have a creative career here in Northwestern Alberta, and that you don't have to go to LA, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Toronto to do that. I think that is the most important part. That's what I want to leave behind. And yeah, I just want to prove that there's a creative industry, because there's, like I said, there's naysayers out there. And I think it's an industry that doesn't get enough attention here. And I think it's growing. And I think it's about time for people to realize it and recognize it. That's what I want to leave behind for sure. If not, just start it. Start the movement. And, if the new generation takes it on, then that's cool. But just start the conversation about it.
Right. Even if it's only that one person, that one kid who's inspired, and then they might take that and then take it to the next level, right?
Run away with it.
Right.
It's true.
And there's something to be said for that too, the teaching thing or whatever you want to say. Like there's something it still hits in the same way, almost like seeing that person you helped achieve their thing, or like there's something cool about that.
Yeah, I set up at the Youth Expo last year. I think it was in March last year, but this year it's going to be in May. And I just did a podcast setup, like similar to what I have right now, with 2 chairs and 2 mics, and not recording because they're kids, but they were able to hear themselves in the headsets, and they're like, that's so cool. And then I brought like a script from like one of my film sets, like from a narrative that I worked on, and like showed them what like a 1-sheet looked like. And kids were really interested in it, and I'm really looking forward to participating again this year. And yeah, there was also somebody who's just kind of new in the industry, and they had like some high stakes shoots, right? And I just started asking them questions. I was like, okay, how are you going to record the audio? Okay, you're going to be outside. Okay, have you thought about XYZ? Because, when I was new, I made all those mistakes. And, it was like something high stake, like a wedding, right? And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Like, let me just give you some advice. Here, take this audio recorder, I said. Use that. And they came back to me. They returned the audio recorder like, you saved me so bad. No problem. So, that's a big win. So those kind of moments I'm going to carry forward. But yeah, I would say it's all about those youth believing in themselves, that they're either to do something similar to myself or even better.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Excellent. So what's next? What do you think is next for like the industry in Grande Prairie, or the region, I guess is what I'll say. What do you think is next for everybody? Because I think it's a wide open space, technically speaking.
Yeah, I think there's just so many opportunities. We are really the land of opportunity up here. tons of creative people. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just going to grow in popularity. I think more people are going to create things. Content is continuing to be important to businesses, to people. People want to make it their career now. And yeah, I think it's just growth. Like we've got, maybe the AI thing is going to happen, like out in the Greenview, who knows?
Yeah.
But we're posed for growth here. And I think the industry is just going to grow. There's going to be more collaboration between the creative industry. I think everyone's kind of in their own corners right now. And that's what the creative networking mixers are all about, is bringing those people together. Cool ideas. Oh, maybe this dancer wants to do this cool video, but they don't know how to make it happen. Okay, there's a video shooter at this creative mixer. All of a sudden they connect and they make something really cool. That's what I want to see. That's what I think is going to happen kind of into the future for this creative industry here in Northwestern Alberta.
Yeah, I love the mixers. Yeah. It's a great idea. It's great.
I
mean, it's bringing all the people together, and then they can, form their own relationships and collaborate in their own way. And I mean, it's awesome to have you on here. We're doing the collab right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna. For some reason, you want us to be on your podcast, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's because it is. I'll be the first one to say it is awkward when other people ask you to be on their thing. Super weird to me.
Yeah,
it's weird to me. Well, yeah, because like we're in our own world most of the time.
This
right?
was weird.
I told you. I knew it.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, it's strange, especially, and I think from my point is a little bit different, even because I do all the backgrounds. I do all the other stuff too. So it's like. Weird. And then to be able to just sit there and let somebody else do it is weirder even still almost. Like.
Right.
So it's fun.
No, I'm really excited to have you on, and I'm sure there's going to be more podcasts that come out of this region. It's not going to be that thing where people are like, okay, you're going to start a podcast. Like, come on, let's be real. Right. I think it's just, I think this is going to become a normal industry that kids, youth, people who are older and want to get into, they can.
Right. And I know, like everyone has something neat to talk about. Everyone has interests, that they specialize in, that they can just put out there and people can appreciate it and people can absorb it. And then maybe they trickle off into something else that they want to do. I mean, I like you had the White Lightning, his name escapes me right now. Kelly, I think his name is
Kelsey.
My bad.
Really close,
sorry, Kelsey. He's starting a podcast and stuff right now, so it's given. You know what I mean? It's all these sparks are kind of going off, and everyone's leveling up. Everyone's kind of doing something else. I mean, years ago maybe people would only focus on their one thing and stick to it, but it's good that everyone's kind of meeting everyone, collaborating, kind of starting, their own different avenues of creative process and stuff like that. So so shout out to you and your mixers, because I think it's a great idea.
Thanks. Yeah. And it's really cool that there's programs out there like Tell a Story Hive that are embracing podcasts, right? I think they're just did their second call for their second edition of the video podcast. So you can get funded by Tell a Story Hive to produce your podcast. They give you a little training, guidance, all those kind of things. And so like when big companies like that start to buy into it, I really think it's posed for some growth here.
Yeah, I think podcasts is kind of will eventually get to the point where that will be your news or whatever you want to say kind of thing. It won't be the TV, because like I don't personally watch TV news, mainstream news and that kind of way anymore. I don't know many people that really do our age kind of thing. So yeah. I think eventually the switch will happen and that'll kind of more or less go away. It'll look different at least. And you'll see a lot more I think the long form thing is the way. Like I think people are sick of the clips and the kind of talking head thing. So I think that's a big market. That's my thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of that content is overstimulating sometimes. Hey, like it's just like I find myself like, don't get me wrong, I love content and I love all sorts of content, but recently I've been really trying to be more cautious and conscious about just scrolling and like just how it's just like making me feel, right?
Yeah.
And like sometimes I just need to put on some long form thing and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I can relax.
Yeah,
now.
your mind can kind of unwind a little bit and kind of have a second or two to just think about what's going on instead of seeing a headline and a video and you click a link and you don't even get what you want to.
And things are
What you clicked on is not even
flashy.
what was there. It's just kind of a clickbaity thing. I hate all that clickbait stuff.
Yeah.
I need real material.
You don't have time to process anything. It's just information, and you don't have a moment to soak it up for a second. At least when people are discussing it, you can still listen while thinking about the last point or whatever. Or you don't, you know what I mean? You don't have a chance because you only get 15 seconds or whatever in this stupid clip to take up 14 different comments. And your brain's like, I don't know how to process that. And then you're on to the next one, and now you're doing it again, and 1 second later, it's like it's too much.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and like the algorithm like just has me always like scratching my head sometimes. I'm like, there's this reel that David did a couple of weeks ago. Well, would it be a couple weeks? Maybe a week or so ago. It's like hit like 150,000 views. It's rules on our cyclorama wall. Who likes rules? Nobody likes rules. Like we were even afraid to put out the content because it's this negative thing, right? But we need to have rules because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it nice for everyone to use. But, something blows up like that. My boyfriend, he's got apparel T-shirt brand that he's built. And
Nice.
he posts some of his fishing content. And it was just like him casting out. And like nothing happened. Like seriously, not a fish came up to try and bite his fly. Nothing. It was just him casting out and it just blew up. 300,000 views or more. It was wild. And you're just like, why?
That's one thing that we
right?
found as well. Like what you think is going to hit. Like that's one thing I always find. It's like you spend all this time and you get real crazy and
Post the
you
reel.
You get your description, you get your hashtags, you get your everything going, you're all psyched, and you put it out. It's like 2 views, and then you just dump something.
Tops at 300 views, and you're like, man, what the heck?
Yeah, and then you just dump something.
Yeah.
You dump something that was like, I'm putting this out anyway, just because I have it or whatever, and then goes ballistic.
Yeah.
Last fall, I had this. I was just getting ready for the Christmas season, so we just got these Christmas backdrops in, and I had just come from the Women in Business chamber. What was it? Women in Business event. It's for Small Business Week.
Oh, yes.
And I wore this like pink power suit. Like everyone was just like complimenting. I was like, thank you, this pink power suit. It's very loud and bright. And I just came back and I was steaming this like backdrop. And like I just decided to set up the camera. I'm like, maybe we'll do a little content. The angle's like all like curved. It's not straight. And it was the best piece of content until David. He blew me out of the water. I had 3,000 views and I thought, wow, that's really good. And 150. I got big shoes to fill here. But and that's what took off. Me steaming a backdrop. Like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's always weird stuff. Weird stuff.
David, the bar is set high now. You gotta surpass that. You gotta keep that up. David.
Yeah. He's more rule videos.
More rule videos. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Do not step on the white paint with your shoes, please.
Don't.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I thought it was an excellent clip. It's funny. I was like, that's a sweet clip. Like, I don't know. But I think that's so simple
before
that
it took off. Like I told him, like, because people were commenting to me in person, right? Like that's when I know something's good, right? When I meet people and they're like, oh yeah, I saw that reel today. It was really cool. Yeah. And I make sure to tell David that because, he does really good work. He deserves to be recognized for it. And it's. You saw it, so yeah,
that's right.
That's awesome.
It's shot really well, right? And it's like the way the clips cut, to the he's got juggling the tennis balls and then putting the tennis balls on the bottom of the tripod or whatever it was, I forget. But yeah, those things just work. And like we haven't had one like of us that we edited of our own video. Like we post ones of like whatever. So we'll post reels of concerts or movie clips or stuff like that. And some of them have gotten really, really popular and stuff like that, but it's not not of us. Like our logo was in it. We put our logo in it and stuff like that, but it's not of us. So
Yeah.
we've got a majority of our Instagram followers from some of those reels, but it's not it's not us.
No, but to
reel.
be fair, on YouTube, like some of our stuff is like gone ballistic. Like Steve Bay's one's like over 2,000 views on there, over 2,000 views on our Instagram now. So that's technically 4,000 views. You know,
I guess that one is.
So that's pretty sick. And there's a couple of them. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's not us. It's technically Steve, but we're talking. You can hear our voice and stuff. But like, you know, it's our branded thing. Like we made it us.
Yes.
You know, it's us kind of thing. So there's a couple of those that are pretty good. But no, most of ours have been like funny things or whatever.
Funny
like,
things.
Reclipped funny things.
Yeah. Like, you know, the one Limp Bizkit thing.
Fred Durst is like, it's not 1999, but he's older and he's staring out over this big, huge crowd in Germany, just like it was at Woodstock.
Yeah. Flashbacks.
It's like, looks like he's having a flashback or whatever.
So yeah, that one's got quite a bit of views on that one.
Yeah, that one's gone nuts.
But
That's awesome.
That's the thing. We're gonna keep throwing stuff out there, and whatever sticks, right?
Yeah.
Totally. You got to just try it. I always tell that to clients too is, in theory, with all the research, with all the things that we know, that seems like a good idea, but you really got to just test the market.
Yeah.
And see what it does.
I found like Meta has been pretty cool lately. Like they opened up like the trial reels now. That's a slick thing, and the fact that you can kind of modify them within your grid, and they've kind of opened up some cool stuff that makes it a little bit more customizable. Or I don't know what the word is for that, but a little more customizable for you, kind of thing. And I think we've noticed, because I've noticed we verified ourselves as well, which it's not supposed to give you more followers, but I think they do give you more followers. Like they push more people at you when you verify.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the
something.
verified stuff is interesting, hey?
Yeah, because I was like, I'm going to try it for, like, my theory was like, okay, let's pay the $20 and let's see what happens. Because it's $20. I mean, whatever. You can do anything for $20.
I think they do push you a little bit more.
I think so. And then, so they recently switched from square content to rectangle, tall content, you know, like story mode kind of thing.
Were you pissed at that at the start of that, or are you're a fan of that?
Well, you know, when you have all of your clients' contents in a square format.
Yes.
Well, I was just talking about this with David.
Oh, I know.
Today, actually. It's like the aspect ratios, you can never win whenever you make any kind of graphic. So Facebook events is classic for this. There's like 4 different aspect ratios that you're supposed to fit one graphic into. Like, come on. Yeah. That's not realistic. So it looks like crap on 3 of them, and then one of them, it looks great.
Yeah.
And so, I wish they could work out some of those things. But, I mean, from a perspective of marketing, you know, when you have a month of worth of content already kind of built, it's kind of frustrating all of a sudden in the middle of that. Yeah. But you can never guess that. That's why these spaces are rented, right? At any point, they could just be gone, right? Yeah, so got to keep that in mind, too.
But to their credit, you can go back and look through your feed, and then you can edit how it looks in those rectangles now. I mean, it is work and whatever, but at least you have the option to go back and kind of resize, zoom in, zoom out, kind of fit and crop how you want it to look in your profile grid, which is nice.
Okay.
You couldn't do that before. Once it was kind of put out there, it was stuck the way it was, which I hated, because I always wanted to, or I always would forget, or go back and forth, and then your profile grid picture would be different, and then you'd post it and you're like, crap, like,
I forgot to pick a cover
that's
or whatever.
not what I wanted to post.
No,
and you can't go back and edit it, but now you can, so it is nice.
Yeah, they are making it a little bit easier, but I think we were unintentionally ahead of the game, because most of our content was in like story format kind of thing. Tall, so it worked out.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that, but I was trying to make stories out of everything. Essentially, like if it can fit in a real story format, I wasn't necessarily worrying about what the grid looked like. I was like, because I want people to see the reels. Like, it's really what I want to see is the reels and stuff out in the world, like in the wild kind of thing. So I was like, if I size it all this way, so for the last like 4 months, I've been sizing everything tall, so it kind of worked out, but I was still like, and I mean, I seen it and I was like, oh, that looks wicked. Then I was like, oh my God, these poor people that just spent months doing content, it looks so, it's going to look so weird.
I know, like we started doing a grid style design for creating North of 55. So we have like the one guest like looking this way, and then the thumbnail, and then the other guest looking this way. And so I wonder how that's going to look. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but we're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah. And then I noticed too, and then I had a couple that I wanted to make that size, and I noticed that Adobe has given you the option to use AI to fill the gap. So I actually used it. It does, now, I wouldn't take a picture and then try to be like, fill this picture in necessarily, but if you do like a graphic with kind of minimal background or whatever, it does a really good job actually of kind of giving you more. But I wouldn't want too much.
Even for pictures, it does a really good job.
Does it really? I haven't tried it really with that.
Yeah.
Oh man, because that's one thing I was into. I was like, I wonder how much of this you could do really. Interesting.
Yeah, like I had some lighting at a shoot that I was at earlier this week, and it was a gym that had really high ceilings, and the lighting was way up high. So then what happens? You just get so much shadow, right? So put like a couple lights on each end, and obviously when you take shots, like you're gonna get the light in there, right? Like every once in a while, and so you can like take it out with Adobe.
Wow!
Stuff. So
I've been paying for the full suite lately, the expensive one.
Okay.
So
it's so
because
expensive.
I want to get to. I hate the subscription thing, but I do want to get to know how to use this stuff. Because like right now, I kind of using bare bones stuff. Like I'm really good in audio world, like that's where I come from, kind of thing. But it's only now I'm getting into video stuff.
Was that a one-time subscription?
Oh no, you pay $78 a month. Get the full suite. Now you can pick each. You can pick and choose what you like, but it's like $29 an app. Then so you end up paying a fortune.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna foot the bill for a few months, and if it's worth it, I'm gonna keep it, I guess. Or I'll maybe subscribe just to the ones I like or ones I use. But the other side is that if you get two apps, it's the same price as it's only like $5 difference from getting the whole suite, and they know how to get you. Adobe knows what they're doing. Gotcha. But they have cool stuff. Like their stuff is so good, and it's the pro level stuff. And I get there's a reason it's expensive. But I will admit though, when I opened up Adobe Premiere first, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
very overwhelming at first.
But I'm sure, like after a while, YouTube University, those kind of things, you get used to it.
Yeah, it's true. I'm signed up for the Udemy course, so I'll take the Udemy one, and I'll work my way. I'll know what I'll get 3/4 of the way there, and then I'll just go off on my own because I'll know enough. Then I was doing my own thing. That's what'll happen. But I'm excited to learn it because it's cool. Like I said, I'm kind of pretty proficient in Logic and Pro Tools and stuff like that, but.
Okay.
Not really. Haven't really gone too deep into the film thing. Yeah. Like I did a lot of photo stuff at one point. Got really deep into photography for a little while, like in my 20s. Oh man. So I'm a little bit more familiar in that world, but I was expecting it to kind of translate. I think when I opened it up, it doesn't really. But I think once I started to understand what everything was and did, or what it was supposed to do, and stuff I didn't kind of need in my vision, I just kind of got rid of that, and I'm kind of working at it. I can use it. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's a great tool, but at the same time, Adobe has its faults a little bit. I know Premiere, it's kind of notorious for crashing. I don't know if that's happened to you, but you got to be careful. Make sure you have autosave for sure, because
I always have
it will
autosave
crash
on
you.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware. I've had many sessions go awry to not hitting save enough. Not many, I shouldn't say many, but some important ones that I was kind of like, oh shit. But
I upgraded my account. Well, I thought I did with Adobe, and this Adobe rep was like, yeah, just upgrade your account and this and that. And I had a bunch of credits that were like built up, and like I upgraded and all the credits were gone. Like all my Photoshop, like my cloud Photoshop stuff, like my client stuff was gone.
Oh no.
And I was just like, this is not an upgrade. I'm paying 2 times the price. And you guys just got rid of all my credits and all these kind of things. And they're like, yeah, sorry, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, why didn't you guys tell me this before?
Yeah, that's aggressive.
I could have used the credits at least.
Yeah, holy man. Yeah, I find, like I say, I don't know, because like I'm kind of stuck in the audio world or whatever, and same idea. So Pro Tools became a subscription again.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, no man, I'm not going down this road. I've already got 35 subscriptions. I don't need another one. So I was really proficient in Logic, and when I went to college and stuff, like that was we did our other half of training in or whatever, and I really liked it at the time, and I just never went back kind of thing because I always had Pro Tools, but it's a one-time shot.
Did you consider Did you consider DaVinci Resolve at all?
George Stropolopoulos recommended that to me on the podcast last time, so that's my next adventure. I'm going to download the trial and see what that's all about.
It's
I've
really
used that before as
powerful.
well.
I've never used it myself because I've just been so into Premiere, and I really don't have the time to learn a new one. And so, but it's powerful and it's free. Like a basic level is free, I believe.
Yeah,
I
you
think
get most of the
some
features.
bells and whistles with the upgraded version, but
Yeah, so I think I'm going to try, because that's what he's like, you should try that out. It's not as overwhelming, kind of, when it's all the same stuff, but it's not as crazy. Like, it doesn't look as crazy when you open it up and whatever. So that was, I was going to download it the other day, but I'm at the point where my hard drive is, like, my system drive is getting pretty full, and I do want to keep my Adobe stuff on, and I'm kind of in the middle of working on some other stuff that I'm fooling with or whatever, so I'm kind of like, okay, I'll finish these little things that I'm fooling with, and then I'll get DaVinci and see what that's all about.
yeah, let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear about it because, I haven't made the leap myself. So
yeah, so I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested to see versus kind of thing. Like, as a person who doesn't know a whole bunch, like, how easy is one to get further in than in the other one, kind of thing. So it's coming down the pipe soon.
yeah,
Super cool. Super cool. Well, we'll conclude it there, I believe.
I think so.
yeah.
not?
Mariah,
Cool.
awesome podcast. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
in.
Thanks
Yes.
for having me.
Oh, anytime at all.
Yes, you've been great guests. We're so thankful to have you on and promote what you're doing. We think it's awesome. And
Thanks.
hopefully people see this and want to be involved in what you have going on downtown. We think it's awesome. So, yeah.
Thanks.
We appreciate your time. We appreciate having you on. And
Yeah, and I'm sure the local community really appreciates you, because, like, what you're doing is awesome, and you're a huge supporter of the community, so it's
Thanks.
awesome. Yeah, and
Thank you.
oh yeah, and that's the best.
That means
that's the
a
best
lot.
Part. That's the best part, man. Is the help. We love it. We love that. And yeah,
Thank you.
And congratulations on all your success and everything else. So it's been awesome. It's been great to meet you. We'll be back to the next mixer, of course. And yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, and if you're in Grande Prairie, come check it out downtown.
That's right.
Right on 100th Ave. Come for a tour. Check it out.
yeah, that's awesome. And you guys have got the tested out tours now.
Yeah.
Come down, check it out, and take some
launched
quick
that.
stuff. That's cool. That's a really slick idea. Yeah, so go do that.
Yeah.
Anybody, if you're unsure of what, if this is something you want to get involved in, or you just don't know what it looks like, go down, walk in, say hello, introduce yourself, and go for a tour. Take some snaps, or record a little clip, whatever you want to do. Just try it. That's my biggest thing. If we never tried it, we wouldn't have done it. You just got to do it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's so true. Just give it a shot, and thanks for having me on the pod. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mariah, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully you get to go home now.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Fire landed.